Welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Crow's Camo. Now, full disclosure, I went out and spent my own money flying to France. I met up with Julien Renier and a couple of the team over at Black Crow's. They were nice enough to lend me their skis to test and review. I reviewed the Black Crow's Justice and the Black Crow's Camo. They're fairly similar skis. They're kind of in the same vein design-wise, but they have a few things that really kind of make them distinct. But I was given the skis to borrow for 4 or 5 days, and then at the end of the day, I marched back over and returned them to their shop. So, I don't know. I was provided the skis, but I did pay my own money to go ski in France. So, full disclosure, I am fully independent. I do not take money from brands, and this is no exception. So, just wanted to clarify that in the beginning. If you like independent reviews and you want to support this kind of content, please consider using the affiliate links down below if you're looking at buying the ski. I know it's on sale right now, and with tariffs going into place, I would not be shocked to see Black Crow's and every other ski brand raise prices for next year. So, yeah, that's a free way you can support the channel if you're interested in buying this ski or any other ski at the end of the video. So, please use those. That's basically how we're able to remain independent. Now, I ski these in a 180 centimeter length, which means that they have about 1,825 grams. They were 97 millimeters width underfoot for all of the lengths, which means that they have a 20 meter turn radius. Now, typically these retail for about $800, but right now you can buy them on evo.com for $559, which I think value-wise places them very aggressively. That's a very solid price for a very solid ski. These skis are pretty simple, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I like what Black Crow's does with their material, especially with this ski and the Justice, but these skis are made with poplar and fiberglass, pretty similar to most Black Crow skis, although a handful of them do use Titanal, but in this case, this is just poplar and fiberglass. And I know I say just, but honestly, I love how Black Crow's takes simple materials and makes a really nice, smooth, gradual flexing ski. But now that we got those logistics and specs out of the way, let's talk about what you guys really care about. How did this ski actually feel on snow? Now, this will be a little bit of a mini review because, like I said, I spent 3 days on the Black Crow's Justice because I enjoyed it so much more, and about 1 day on the Black Crow's Camo and 1 day on the Blizzard Anomaly 88. And just after trying all of them, I wanted to spend the remaining days on the Justice, so this will be kind of a mini review. But I did spend a full day, like 6 to 8 hours skiing in Chamonix on these, so I feel like I got a really good sense of them. But I don't know, in being someone that's more focused on carving, I'm just going to be honest, this ski seems like it's appealing more to the freestyle crowd, so this will be a little bit of a mini review. Now, my first impressions, it was hard to go from the Justice to the Camo, just in that I like the bitey turns of the Justice. I like the turn initiation of the Justice, and this did a pretty good job once you got it on edge. I love the smoothness. I love the gradual kind of massaged out turns. But my first impression was, it's not quite bitey enough. I wish it just had that Justice tip. Now, for those of you guys who are more interested in freestyle, maybe that like distinct twin tip, aggressive tip is really important for you guys, and this ski makes a lot more sense. But for me, as someone who's a little bit more focused in carving, I really gravitated more towards the Justice just in having a more aggressive, bitey turn. Now, for some of you that may not matter, but for me, it made a big difference, and that was kind of the first thing I noticed. Everything else felt very similar to the Justice, but it was just missing the thing that I liked the most. So, I wasn't crazy about these. It had some good, it had some bad, we'll get into that. But my first impression was, I just feel like it's waiting to get the initiation going. And then my other first reaction was, it's very stable. It feels very, very stable in the turns. And that's when I finally felt like, okay, there's something I can kind of latch onto that I really enjoy. But now that we got first impressions out of the way, let's talk about the good, and then we'll talk about the drawbacks, because as always, every ski has drawbacks, and this is no exception. The good, like I said, is very stable, and the consistency feels so good. That gradual buildup that kind of allows you to massage the skis and change their shape was really, really satisfying. And it's not like, oh, it allows me to flex it so it feels good. It's more like the smoothness of how gradual it is. Some skis, you get it going and then it'll kind of give way. Or, oh, it doesn't really give way till the very end when you don't want it to. This is like a very progressive bend in the ski, and the way that you change the shape of it feels very smooth and very rewarding. And honestly, I think that's kind of where it stands out the most. The other good I had here is they were surprisingly fun in soft snow, and carving when the snow has give felt great. So if you live somewhere with softer snow or somewhere where it gets kind of baked in the sun, I could see these being a lot of fun for that, because I feel like when the snow has a little bit of give to it, you can really make nice, smooth feeling turns. What did I say? The tips and tails make sense for twin tips-ish ski, like somebody who kind of has a freestyle background but is looking for more of a daily driver. It makes sense to me, but it just feels like it's a ski caught between two worlds. And whenever you have that where a ski doesn't quite lean into one world but doesn't quite lean into the other, that's where you can feel a little bit of awkwardness. And for me, when you have a ski that leans into it more, it's a much more rewarding experience, and that's where the justice comes in. If you put these side by side, which I had them side by side, you'd almost think you're skiing on the same ski, but the tip and shape difference makes a world of difference when it comes to carving. So if, like me, you're somebody who cares about carving, that's what I would lean into. Now, if you're somebody who cares about the freestyle-ish kind of ski and you like that shape, maybe you'll really enjoy this and you'll still get a phenomenal gradual turning ski. And honestly, even being on them for a day, I didn't feel like I needed to go and swap them out. They weren't bad. I still had a lot of fun. I think just knowing that extra step of where a ski that's kind of bitey can land you was what made me feel negative about these. And I'm talking like the ski was bad, but it wasn't. It was still a very good ski. It's just, I think in my mind, knowing that there was something a little bit better over the horizon was great. But I think for a handful of people where carving isn't their priority and they just want to kind of coast through the turns and they want to still get that nice Black Crows feeling, I don't know, it makes a ton of sense. Similar to kind of like people who are skiing the Atris, where you have kind of a sendy ski with more of an aggressive tip where you can have that freestyle option. I'm not going to pretend to be a freestyle guy. I don't know the difference between a good freestyle ski. I just know a ski that feels good in soft snow and a ski that feels good on groomed runs, and this totally checked those boxes. I had a ton of fun, but if you're somebody who's in that world, I think there's a lot to enjoy here. Now let's talk about some of the downsides. Downsides, similar to the Justice, they can be a bit chattery, probably slightly more than the Justice. The fiberglass just gives you that kind of pingy feeling, and when you get onto really firm snow, maybe underneath the powder, you kind of hear that fiberglass and you can get pinged around a little bit on some of the firmer snow. The other thing I noticed was on the demo skis that I had, again, these were loaners, and I think that they had been put through a lot. And the guy even warned me, he's like, we haven't had a chance to tune these, you know, so full disclosure. But I did notice that the top sheets were chipping just a little bit. Now, it wasn't nearly as bad. Like, I had a pair of Salomon QST 106s that seemed to get worse chipping, and even my Atomic Vantages on certain parts would chip more. So I don't know, it wasn't terrible, but I did notice the fiberglass on those tips specifically, the way that they were kind of, you know, tilted up, was a little bit more aggressive than I would have liked to see. But that being said, I've never heard anything bad about Black Crow's warranty. So, you know, if you do have an issue, I don't know, I haven't been through it myself, but that's something that should be covered. And again, every ski tip gets that way eventually. It was hard to tell, but, you know, I don't know, just worth noting. It was like a 10% increase to tip chipping than what I would expect to see for a ski that age. But I don't know, you know, France is also a place that's foreign to me. Maybe that's common on the skis out there. And I did notice that like all of the demo skis, they had put metal tips over the top. I don't know if that's just for the demo fleet. I don't know if they do that because of how the snow is in the Alps, but something I noticed on this particular ski. Hard to say that that's how all the skis are, just my personal experience. So what would I give these for a score? My overall impression is that this is a really solid ski. I like the design, I like the flex, I like the way it felt on snow. I had a ton of fun. It was stable. I didn't feel like there was any soft snow that I wasn't enjoying when we got some of that surprise powder. I do think this feels like a ski kind of clinging to its freestyle roots. And if that's something you want, then you may see that as a plus. But for me, And for people who care about carving, I think just spend a little bit of extra money and get the Justice, because I don't think that the freestyle aspects serve the ski that well when it comes to carving it. The turn just doesn't bite as much. You can massage it in and get a really smooth turn, so there's good and there's a lot to like there. But if your priority is carving, I wouldn't try to save money and go with the camo. Now, if you're really care about freestyle and you're looking for something that blends that, by all means. I mean, this is a fantastic ski. But if your priority is in carving and you want a little bit of like powder flotation, the Justice is very similar and puts a bigger priority on that carving aspect. So for my like personal recommendation for most people, I would probably just go with the Justice, let go of that freestyle part. But if you care about freestyle skiing, then by all means, this is a fantastic ski. I just am gonna kind of grade this based on my personal experience with prioritizing carving. But again, like I said, I can't say that I've said it like 100 times. If you care about freestyle, then take my score with a heavy grain of salt. But if your priority is carving, the Justice is just way more bang for your buck. They're both on sale right now. Don't try to kind of cheap out and expect to get the Justice experience with the camo. This is a ski that is good on carving. It can hold a solid turn, but it is not quite committing to the full turn, not quite committing to that bite. So for me personally, this is a 7.5 out of 10. I still, when I got the ski on edge, it was a very smooth, gradual turn. It was a lot of fun to ski on. I can see why it's such a flagship ski for Black Crows. But my, own personal bias towards it leans me towards, it's so close. You're so close. Just go for the Justice. You want that bite. You want that turn initiation. This kind of takes its time, and once you do get it on edge, it's a nice smooth turn. You can finish it out on the tails, but it takes some patience to get there. As far as powder performance and off-trail performance, it's a little bit narrower than the Justice, I believe, but I felt like the performance was just as adequate there. And if you're somewhere with like really wet heavy snow or really like pingy boilerplate snow, maybe understand that fiberglass can feel a little bit chattery and it can get a little bit pingy there. But if you're someone who has soft snow, who has patience, and you're looking for a freestyle-ish ski, then this may scratch that itch perfectly. So for me, it's a 7.5. I would guess that if you're looking for a freestyle-ish ski, it's probably more like an 8.5. But I just gonna be honest with you guys on my impression of it and how I would kind of rank it if I was buying skis for myself. So I hope you found that helpful. I know it's kind of a shorter review, but I wanted to give it to you guys honestly and give you full disclosure kind of on the parameters. A big shout out to Black Crows. Thank you for, loaning me these skis, giving me the ability to test them. It meant a lot to me. Like I said, I did fly myself out to France, so that was probably more of the ticket. It would have been cheaper probably just to buy Black Crow skis, but I really enjoyed getting to meet with your team, getting to understand kind of the philosophy behind designing the skis, and I really appreciate your time and effort to getting me on these skis. It meant a ton to me, and I really appreciate it. As I said before, if you're interested in buying these skis or any other skis, please use the links down below. I'll have links to the camo, the Justice, other skis that are on sale right now from Black Crows. We also have channel memberships. If you're looking for another free way to support the channel, you can like and subscribe. But as always, more than anything, just thanks for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. It means a ton to me, and it's what has enabled me to make these kind of reviews, to be able to talk with the Black Crows team and get the skis in my hand. I know you guys take time out of your day, and it's never lost on me that without you guys, I wouldn't be able to make half of these videos. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for using those links in advance. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.